welcome to India Today. This is Anita in conversation with Abhay, actually Kunal Kemmu. Hi Kunal,
Hi,
welcome.
Anita. Thank you.
So this is actually a great news that you're coming out with season 3. Let me begin by asking, when you first started Abhay, the first season, did you have any idea कि ये एक franchise बन जाएगा?
सी आप हमेशा होप तो आपकी हर चीज के साथ ऐसी होती है और जब आप ओटीटी प्लेटफॉर्म में वेंचर करते हैं क्योंकि जनरली वहां पर इसी तरह के शोज होते हैं जो सीजन 1 सीजन 2 सीजन 3 पे जाता है ऑब्वियसली इट्स ओनली गोना हैपन व्हेन इट्स अ सक्सेसफुल शो तो
Correct.
इंटेंट तो वही था तो ये बोलना झूठ होगा कि मैंने एक्सपेक्ट नहीं किया था कि इसका एक और सीजन नहीं बनेगा एक्सपेक्टेशंस ऑब्वियसली होप से रिलेटेड थी बट डेफिनेटली खुशी हुई और यू फील रिलैक्स समवेयर दैट ओ फाइनली वी हैव डिलीवर्ड so that we are
Yeah.
getting an opportunity to do another season. And I'm even more happier that we are in season 3 now. And I'm just hoping that we continue to entertain the audiences, which is the end game of everything that goes onto any kind of platform which is based for entertainment. So I'm just excited now to see if people love season 3 as much as they've loved 1 and 2.
Right. Rightly said, first and two were exceptionally good. Like people were like blown away with the content that you all got. What can the audience now expect from season 3?
See, honestly, when something is working, it's very risky to decide कि अब इसको change करते हैं, right? But at the same time, it's very important to do something new, and that's why it's a new season. Otherwise, you can just
Hmm.
keep watching what you're watching. Uh,
Right.
so obviously, the characters are the same. The format of the show is the same. So everything that you expect from an Abhay will continue. But we've tried to take his journey into a different zone, like we did with season 2 also. Like season 1 was more about the criminal's episodic and his
Yeah.
personal life, and season 2 became about an external threat, which is from Ram Kapoor and everything that comes with
Correct.
it. In season 3, even though the hooks that we ended with on season 1, that Khushbu begins an
Yeah.
investigation on Natasha's accident slash murder case on Abhay without anybody's knowledge, and Sonam has gone missing. So what is happening in that? So his personal life is going to go through that, and while you're solving the first two crimes, you'll see that we've ventured slightly in a different zone where even though it looks initially that normal serial killings are happening, he's going after serial killers, it's going into something different,
Hmm.
which I can't reveal, but it is a different world that we're getting into. So we want to offer something different to the audiences also with the hope that they do accept it because the
Hmm.
intention is to provide something new. At the same time, we retain what people have liked about the show, that multiple crimes, multiple criminals, uh, the officer in Abhay Pratap Singh, who
Right.
also is slightly gray in his way of workings.
Right. So how's your character evolved? How do you see your growth as the character in the season?
See, when season 2 and season 3 are concerned, it's pretty in sync because सीजन 2 और सीजन 3 के बीच में सिर्फ 3 दिन गुजरे हैं in the world. जैसे
Hmm.
सीजन 1 और सीजन 2 में like months had gone by and there
Right.
was a
Huh.
different change and you were finding out things that happened in his past, like how he met Sonam and all of that. वो वो हमने flashback में दिखाया था. बट सीजन 2 खत्म होने के बाद सीजन 3 लिटरली 3-4 दिनों में शुरू हुआ है, तो वो कंटिन्यूटी में है. So all the
Okay.
stresses and the things that Abhay is going through in his personal life are in sync.
Insane.
So the ante only gets heightened for him through the episodes, and whether it breaks him or makes him is something that you'll see. But I have to say that I felt slightly more comfortable, more relaxed getting into Abhay because I felt like this is a character that I know. So I didn't have to kind of work harder on certain mannerisms or because वो set था क्योंकि वो एक बार किया दो
Correct.
बार किया अभी तीसरी बार कर रहे हैं. But at the same time, for me also, I was like, and I needed those kind of scenes where I could present a different side of Abhay, which I think are there. So
Hmm.
so I'm happy that मेरे लिए भी वो monotony नहीं है कि सुबह उठे ऑटो पायलट पे चले गए काम करके
हाँ.
आगे. कुछ अलग है परफॉर्मेंस वाइज अभय के लिए भी एज अ कैरेक्टर इन द शो.
Right. But also this character, this show comes with a lot of responsibility, comes with a lot of pressure. Being in the industry for so many years, do you still get jitters? Do you still get nervous before your show releases, your film releases?
Of course, I mean, but I'm saying it's different also in a lot of ways because jitters like from having sleepless nights वैसा तो नहीं होता है. But I think जिस दिन ड्रॉप होने वाला होता है ना, जैसे फ्राइडे को अगर रिलीज है तो थर्सडे भारी
Thursday.
पड़ता है और फ्राइडे सैटरडे तो और भी भारी पड़ता है क्योंकि आपकी रिपोर्ट कार्ड आनी है.
हाँ.
वैसे ही इसमें भी अभी क्या होगी, अभी तो एक्साइटमेंट है कि अभी पहले क्या होता कि आप पोस्टर का कैसा रिएक्शन आता, हाउ डू पीपल लाइक द पोस्टर, हाउ डू पीपल लाइक द ट्रेलर, एंड देन इवेंचुअली व्हेन यू नो कि आज रात को 12 बजे दे गोना ड्रॉप इट, तो आप नहीं सोते हो, तो आप
Hmm.
पहला एपिसोड या दूसरा एपिसोड देखकर ही सोते हो, और अगले दिन आपको जानना है कि what has been the banter on it. And I think the only thing different here is that more than the critics, the audiences who love the show binge watch it
Yes.
immediately, and they make themselves heard,
Correct.
not just to the platform or the actors, but in general. And I think that's a lovely thing to kind of go through, and more so for a OTT show, which is so new for me, because this is the first
Hmm.
time I'm doing it, because they love this character as much as you love him, because you're also, it's a fictional character that you're coming and playing so many times, and they love the character. So when they
Yeah.
refer to you as Abhay, sometimes saying, they call me Abhay also sometimes, and I like it because it's nice to kind of have that relationship that's been going on
Yeah.
for so many years.
It's nice to connect with the audience, especially with your characters, because you work so hard on those characters
Right,
actually.
right.
But is it easy for you to slip into a particular character? You said no, अरे सुबह उठ के same monotonous नहीं करना है, but you take gaps between your films, your shows, especially Abhay वैसे ही हुआ है.
जी.
Is it easy to get into that character?
सुर पकड़ने में कभी एक आध 2 दिन लग जाते हैं, कभी 2 4 दिन लग जाते हैं. अभय के लिए इट्स बीन सिंपल बिकॉज लाइक आई सेड दैट हार्ड वर्क वेंट इन द फर्स्ट वन.
In the first
लाइक
one,
आई थिंक इट
right?
टुक मे बी एन एपिसोड, बिकॉज तब हम लीनियर शूट कर रहे थे, for me to also understand everything about Abhay, because a
Hmm.
lot from the creative team and the director was left onto me of how I wanted to play Abhay. So I think the first season in itself was a process for me to solidify this character. So for me to know कि second third में, then it was easy for me to say कि नहीं अभय ऐसा नहीं करता है, अभय ऐसा करेगा, या अभय ऐसे बात करेगा, अभय हंसेगा
Hmm.
नहीं, या अभय यहाँ पर he'll be angry about this and all that. So because that hard work was done, I feel it's easier for me to go back and play Abhay.
This season also includes new faces and as well as the old ones. How was it working with the new and the old?
Lovely. I mean, I'm saying one of the highlights of one of the reasons of the success of the show is because of the villains. I think they're the most important part of Abhay, and they're such highlights because the platform and the makers of the show have been so invested in kind of getting actors that not only add to this but also shock and awe in the way they cast it. Like to get a Ram Kapoor to play the villain in season 2
Yeah.
was brilliant on somebody's part, because you've never seen him do something like that. Or even to get Chunky Pandey and make him like the brain soup eater, or even Deepak Tijori in the first time, and this time Vijay
Correct.
Raj and Rahul Dev, who have such, with Vijay also, like you've seen him do comedies and he's like this funny guy that everybody loves, and you make him this dark, sinister person. तो आई थिंक उस सब से भी आप एक्साइटेड होते हैं, और मैंने भी विजय के साथ अभी लास्ट लूट केस की थी, तो उसके
Hmm.
बाद अब यहाँ पर आना, और इतना दोनों 180 कैरेक्टर्स हैं हम. So we really enjoyed kind of doing those scenes, and it's lovely to always generally work with good actors, because I think आप अच्छे एक्टर के साथ काम करें तो आपका अपना सीन अच्छा हो जाता है और आपकी
True.
परफॉर्मेंस बेटर होने लगती है. So I feel blessed to get an opportunity to work with all these wonderful actors.
I saw a small clip where I saw the video, and Vijay Raj is literally, just giving me goosebumps. I'm like, okay, what is he doing? He's really
Yeah.
good actor, actually.
Yeah. No, of course, and I'm very excited for him also, to see how the audiences kind of respond to this.
Responded. Right. Kunal, tell me one thing. You and Soha both are actors and you both are continuously working. How is Inaya taking into all this of about her parents, going to work, shooting? Is she understanding the dynamic of you and
She
Soha
does,
being an actor?
but actually, in all honesty, Suha did take a long time off. And anyways, by default, the last 2 years, we've had a time
Yeah.
off in that way. So we've been very much around for her. But I think more than me, Suha has taken on this baton of the parenting, and she's also sacrificing a lot in her fashion life, and not just because she thinks that's the right thing to do, because she really enjoys doing that. And anyways, I think a mother's role in a kid's life is slightly more than a father's, because
Yes.
I really feel that she does the heavy lifting. I'm there for the fun stuff. uh, but obviously when she has to do something, we always tried that one of us is around. In a very rare case, and it hasn't happened so far, that both of us have to work, we have like family and staff that she's very comfortable with, but we've always kind of maintained a healthy balance between you know taking that into consideration. And like I said, parenting in itself is a process that we are kind of understanding and
Yes.
learning on a day-to-day basis. So we'll make
Right.
those decisions as and when they present us themselves to us.
Right. I was talking to Soha the other day, and then she was telling, during Loot Case, you had taken Inaya for shoots, and then she was away from Soha. Does Inaya realize how famous you both are? Has she got into that space
I don't.
yet?
I'm not. I don't think so. I mean, she knows. I mean, she understands that we've told her like we are actors. Because more than that, she's like, why am I dressing up a certain way, and why am I wearing makeup when I don't wear makeup in my life ever?
At home. Hmm.
Yeah. And so like she knows that we are actors and we are pretending. That's what she's understood. That we pretend to be angry. We pretend to be sad. Because I remember when season 2 came out of Abhay, the hoarding was just outside. From a house, you could
House.
see the hoarding, and she saw that it's Papa, and because I had that brooding, angry expression, she says, "Why is he angry?" And we made her understand that I'm pretending to be angry because I'm playing character. So I mean, she
Hmm.
gets that. I mean, she says it, but how much she actually understands of that, I'm not very sure. But and she hasn't really, because TV time is a new concept in her life, and she's very
Okay.
much happier watching Peppa Pig and Daniel Tiger than she would be anything else. So I don't know. I mean, maybe when she sees us actually do something on television or a film, then maybe she'll understand.
Right. But what is your idea of raising her in the spotlight? Now, so media attention is everywhere. What is your take on this?
I don't really have a take. I'm saying that I'm reacting to this on a day-to-day basis because it's not like something that's prevailed here for centuries or like even decades. I mean,
Hmm.
as far as I know, Taimur was the first kid who started becoming, a papped kid,
Yeah.
and it was such an alien and new concept, and nobody knew what to do with it. And now, thanks to like it happening, you at least can choose if you're okay with it or not. But I have to
Hmm.
say that even when even the paparazzi community is so far has been respectful, and there was a brief period of time which I think I mentioned earlier also, when those zoom lenses, and I mean you can't
Yeah.
not be aware of what is happening. It's your choice, and you can say that if you're comfortable with that or not, right? Because even as an actor, if I get papped, I can choose to not give a picture and go away.
Correct.
Unfortunately, for a kid, they can't. So the parents have to talk for them. So we've always maintained that whatever we put out and whatever's happened, it's not that it's ever been against, like we were not okay with it. Because when we weren't, we said thank you very much, no, thank you, and they've been respectful of that.
What do you think of this new craze that we have for South films, South actors? With Pushpa, the craze has increased. People are just loving it. Have you watched it? What is your
Yeah,
take?
yeah, of course,
What do you have to
of
say
course.
about
I
it?
think it's a super. I think it was one of those cinematic films that, unfortunately, I watched it on TV, but I would have definitely enjoyed it watching it in cinemas. But I think South Indian films have always been superb. I mean, I grew up. I remember Appu Raja, Pushpak, Mayor Sir. I was a big Kamal Hassan fan, or even Rajnikant sir. Like we used to watch all of those films. I mean, obviously at that point of time, you could either watch the dubbed version,
Yeah.
or I don't remember watching a subtitle version. I don't know if subtitle versions were there.
Nahin. Nahin.
But we used to still watch a lot of South Indian films. I'm just saying that I'm happier that line is blurring now, because you're watching stories for stories, entertainment for
Yeah.
entertainment, content for content, and performance for performance. So I mean, I don't know what my comment on this should be, because I'm very happy. I enjoyed watching that film.
There were a lot of people who were saying recently that South is taking over Bollywood. Do you agree that that's happening? And also, there were also talks about we not catering to the audience's taste palette. Like we are not making those commercial kind of films that used to be made. Now we are making films for Oscars or something like that, for awards, basically. That's what I have been like when I've been talking to people. That have been told. I've been told.
See, these are
What do you
these are
think?
perspectives, right? Everything is about timing. I'm saying maybe in the pandemic we went through a phase where you didn't know with theater. I'm saying Pushpa is the best example, right? Because nobody knew what Push. I mean, at least I can say for myself. When the trailer came, I thought, okay, there is another South Indian film which looks nice. Uh, but then when it became what it became a
Yeah.
rage, and like it became a craze. I don't think even the makers of that film knew that this is what's going to happen. So I think that's what films and stories are. You don't know what's going to work, when it's going to work, how it's going to be working. Because I don't know if Pushpa promoted it like a Hindi film in a way that a big
No.
Hindi film promotes itself, but it still found a voice. So I'm saying, if
Yeah.
anything to be learned there is that if you do the right thing with conviction, it will find an audience. The rest, I don't know if we've reached a place where anybody's taking over anybody else is something that you. I mean, I don't even know how do you quantify that argument, because theaters were shut for 2 years. Uh,
Yeah.
even when Pushpa happened, we were in Bombay at least working under 50% occupancy. So I think people are too soon sometimes to run rush to judgments
To
and being
conclusion.
ये हो गया अब ये नहीं होगा वो नहीं होगा ये अच्छा है वो बुरा है तो ठीक है I mean वो बोल सकते हैं हम but जो होना है वो तो होता ही रहेगा. It doesn't matter if we
Right.
think today that Bollywood is done, doesn't mean that Bollywood is done. There'll be two
Right.
films that will do well and maybe there'll be two more films of South that come that don't well and we'll say हो गया South खत्म. वैसा नहीं होता.
The other thing, will you be open to doing South films? Will you be open to doing remakes of the South films in Bollywood?
Look, as an actor, I would love to do that. I only feel that it's a language that I don't know and I don't speak. And as an actor, I feel that if I do not understand the words that I'm saying, I don't know where a comma and a full stop will come. So I won't be able to do a good job for myself, even if you think I'm doing a good job. And it's only because of the language, because I don't understand it. So, मैं रट्टा मारूंगा और कोई मुझे बोलता रहेगा, I won't be able to emote right.
Yeah.
And that's the only barrier that I feel for me to be an actor. I love watching South films, and I wish I could speak the language so that I would also like want to do something like that. But unfortunately, I don't, and I just don't know if I'm comfortable going and speaking a language that I don't understand of how to punctuate more than anything else.
Right. But given a chance, who would you like to collaborate with?
All of them. I'm saying I might also be ignorant towards. It's very easy for me right now to say the top of the line people like Rajamouli sir or even like Fahad Fazil, who I know is a wonderful actor and I've seen some of his other work also. But I'm sure there are others who are also geniuses in the form that I am just unaware of. So easily, the wish list would be like, of course, I want to be with Rajamouli or I want to do a film with Allu Arjun and stuff like that. But I just think they also make very good films, very good content. They also make commercial cinema, but they also make some really nice intellectual cinema and offbeat stuff, which is great. Which may not have the same commercial callings of a Pushpa or an RRR, which we are all now waiting to see. If wishes were horses, then beggars like me would ride.
Yeah, I remember I used to watch all these South films on Z Cinema and Sony Max. These were the only channels used to show the dub version of these films, South films. So yeah, it's come a long way actually. Tell me one thing, Kunal. What is your fitness mantra? And for Abhay, if I'm not wrong, you had a very chiseled body and you worked out a lot during the first season. Correct me if I'm wrong. So what about this time? Did you had to continue the same physique?
Yeah, I mean, we wanted him to play a cop who's tough and gets into fights and all that. So it needed a certain physicality to it. But I generally keep myself in a shape where I can put on weight if need be, or lose weight if need be, put on muscle if need be, and depending on how much time I have between projects. So yeah, I mean, with like I said with Abhay, it's like a little bit of an autopilot thing. Ki I got this, and ye ho jayega. So we reach that place, and yeah, I mean, workouts. So generally, also you want to keep yourself fit and healthy. So those have been a part of my life, and I'm sorry that I know that sometimes these answers become very boring coming from me because I know I should make myself sound at least more interesting, but I'm like, this is what it is, and why should I lie to somebody?
So what else do you have in pipeline? What else can we see apart from Abhay 3? Where can we see
Well,
you?
I finished a film called Kanjoos Makhi Choos, which is it's a comedy and it's a family. It's a lovely film. I'm very happy and proud of it. I just finished dubbing for it now. That should be ready for release in a couple of months. Then there's another show that I did for another platform, which I'm unfortunately not at liberty to talk about unless they announce it. But we finished it. It's a special show, and it's also with people that I've done some kick-ass work with in the past. I'm excited about that also. So I think that will take some time because it has some heavy post-production happening on that right now.
Well, on that note, thank you so much, Kunal.